Hello, everyone. It's Phil Jones, and joining me is Phil Boyle, and we're back to talk about some topics. And Phil, what would you like to talk about today?
Well, Phil, with all the recent announcements from manufacturers like Hisense and TCL with their super large flat panel TVs, I want to talk about why somebody would need or want to buy a projector in 2024 when you're going to be able to very soon get a 110-inch Hisense TV for around $2,000-ish, and you can currently buy right now a 98-inch 4K LCD TV for under $2,000 easy. And Christmas is coming.
It's true. I was at Best Buy today. Sitting in the lobby is this gigantic box for a 98-inch TV for $2,000. And for some customers, that may be the right solution for you. But there still are some applications and some use cases where a projector is still going to be the best solution. So first would just be, how big do you want to go? Because you're talking 110, but once you get past that, projectors are the only option. But how many people, most people probably don't go above 100 anyway.
Okay, yeah, and that's a point I want to make, is that the average projector screen is around anywhere between 100 and 120 inches, and generally not much bigger, because you have to consider most homes are dealing with 8-foot tall ceilings, right? So certainly you could put, like, if you wanted to, a 150-inch screen in that room, but it would practically go from floor to ceiling. And that's going to create problems of its own. So since people are buying, somewhere between 100 and 120-inch screen for their home theater rooms, if you can get a 110-inch Hisense TV, doesn't that perfectly fit the bill?
When we're talking about home theater, people want to go even bigger, if possible, than 100, 120 inches. The next thing is the sound matters as much as the TV. And if you have this giant TV, where are you going to put the center channel? And a lot of times on these big screens, these big home theaters, because you have a projection screen, the screen can be acoustically transparent, and I can put the center channel directly behind it. So as the screen gets bigger, the sound quality could actually be better on a projection system, because I can put the speakers behind the screen if I want to.
All right, so that's a fair point. You can get an acoustically transparent screen that's designed to allow you to put speakers behind it. It's nothing new about this technology. It's been around in the movie theater business for over 100 years. You and I both worked at a company that I believe pioneered a screen that allowed you to have audio come through it. And while they're not very dynamic, that's okay for a center channel, isn't it?
Well, it depends. Not for a home theater enthusiast, isn't it? Percent of the sound comes from that center channel, and that dialogue and all that stuff really matters. So audio wise, it is a little better to incorporate a sound system in with the projection screen. The next thing is, and of course, sizes. If you're starting to talk about home theater, people are willing to try to shove in as a floor to ceiling screen if they possibly can, because that's what they're looking for, is as cinematic as possible. But let's talk about home entertainment. Right. There's some advantages to the flat panel. The first thing is they're not impacted by light at all. Unless you have a light bouncing off, unless you get some glare coming off of it. But you can watch it during the day. You can watch it at night. You can have the lights on. So that's kind of an advantage, right? And of course, and that especially when it comes to the black levels. But like as you mentioned, it's a big piece of glass. So that wall is always used for that thing, even when that thing is off, versus a projection screen that if I don't want it to be there, I can make it uprise or go up or go down and disappear, and I get my real estate back. So if I'm someone that doesn't want my TV to be visible when I'm not using it, there's an advantage to projection. And of course, things like ambient light rejecting screens and higher brightness has helped with that ambient light viewing thing, but it's still, a flat panel is still going to be the best application. But the next one is just portability, Phil. That's why projectors are just going to be a better solution.
Right. So, but all right. So let's talk about dedicated home theater space then. All right.
Well, dedicated home theater space, I wouldn't buy a flat panel. I just wouldn't. It's not big enough. It's not home theater. It's home entertainment.
Hmm.
You can get one. I mean, Sony makes a great one, and so does Samsung. But you could have one heck of a projection system and a sound system for what one of those flat panel, one of those massive, 160 plus inch flat panels are going to cost you.
Okay. So let me throw another one at you then. Quality, picture quality. There's no doubt that flat panel television is going to put out more nits. It's going to be brighter.
Yeah. For HDR, absolutely. A flat panel is going to be a much easier thing. It's easier for a flat panel because of its brightness capability to deliver a great HDR picture. There is no doubt in that. But there's a look that cinema has that a flat panel just doesn't look like. So if you're trying to have that look and feel that you would get in an actual cinema, a projector does a better job, But like I said, I will tell you right now, projectors are still lagging behind when it comes to flat panels. But let's go back to, I saw this week, Epson is launching 2 new ultra high brightness home theater projectors. And that is a 6,000 ANSI lumen and a 10,000 ANSI lumen projector. Now, 10,000 ANSI lumens used to be commercial projection the size of a small refrigerator, but this guy was not that much bigger than most of the 3-panel LCOS projectors I saw, and they were actually showing that 10,000 ANSI lumen model on a 180-inch screen. And it looked like a flat panel, and they left the lights on and everything else because there was just so much brightness behind that projector. Now that's a $30,000 projector, but I challenge you to try to find a 180-inch flat panel TV that's out there for that price. So that is an absolute steal for an image of that size. So home theater wise, I would still just from the visuals of it all and where I put my speakers, I would still give projectors the edge. It's home entertainment that it's getting to be like this.
So I wonder if we could talk a minute about just practical things like, these big giant televisions, they're great, but they generate an awful lot of heat. Right?
Because, well, projectors throw out a lot of heat too, So they both throw out a lot of heat. But I always go back to, if I was looking at a home theater projector, it'd be my application. Number one, a home entertainment projector. I have a media room that's living room / dining room. It's not a dedicated space, but this is where we enjoy entertainment, right? Play video games and stuff like that. It would come down to, do I want to see the screen when it's off or not? I can make a projector disappear. The next thing is, do I need to move it, And first, can I get it in the house? Because have you seen the size of these boxes are gigantic, right? Can I get it in the house? Can I get it on the wall? Can I get it on a stand? And can I move it? So let me give you some scenarios. If you're a military person and you're going to be moving place to place, projector's a better deal, dude. You get a very bright ultra short throw projector and use the wall. Next time you get a new duty station, you pick that thing up, throw it in the back of your car, and off you go. My daughter lives in a dorm, and she's like, Dad, I want a TV. And I took her little Samsung Freestyle, I stuck it in my check bag, I flew to Denver, and she put it in her room on a tripod and shot it at the ceiling. And now her and all her girlfriends are down in her dorm room watching Netflix on an 80-inch TV on the ceiling. And then when it's done, she puts it in a locker. You can't do that with a flat panel. So if you want to move it, you want it to be small, you want to take it places, you're someone that's renting, that's where a projector, even at smaller sizes like 85, may be a better thing for you.
Right. There's no doubt that projection is more flexible. I won't argue that point. It is infinitely more flexible than a flat panel TV is.
The projectors can reproduce colors that flat panels and OLEDs cannot. And that's just because of the laser light source that are in these things. So it's playing with a bigger box of crayons. Now, it may not have that many colors in the content you're watching, but it's there in case it ever does appear in HDR content. So a projector may not be able to display colors as bright as a flat panel, but it can display colors that a flat panel cannot.
So and you may not know the answer to this. We might need to look it up, but let's talk about color space.
Hmm. Hmm.
These new 100-inch, 110-inch televisions that are going to be around $2,000. What's their color capability?
The way a flat panel works, oh my God, I gotta put my flat panel hat back on, is the color gamut is based on the light source behind it. On a projector, you have a red, green, and blue laser, or a red, green, and blue LED. If you have a traditional light source on a back of a TV, it is normally a single color. And because it's normally a single color on an LCD, it's quite difficult unless you do something like quantum dots to excite enough to make the color gamut wider. But it still isn't as wide. Most of those still aren't as wide as what you can do with a 3 laser system. It's 110% of the Rec 2020 color space, which you see on ultra short throws all the time. Not a lot of TVs can do that.
So if I'm hearing everything right here, projection is still more flexible. Projection has a bigger color palette available to it than a lot of these televisions do. It can shoot multiple sizes, which is something you can't do with your LCD television. You buy a 110-inch television, you're watching a 110-inch television.
Exactly.
Yeah, period. So you don't have that flexibility. You know what? Something we didn't talk about, but sound. Not every projector, but certainly the lifestyle projector and ultra short throw projectors have sound quality built into them that rivals a decent sound bar. You know, not a super high end sound bar, but you know, certainly far better than most flat panels.
Yeah, and I like I said, Phil, I struggle with this. Remember, we are projector reviews, right? But I still have flat panels in my house in certain applications. And I was like, wow, I saw that 98, and I was like, man, I'm thinking about I should put that 98 on the wall. And then I saw that Epson. Down. I saw that Epson, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna go bigger. So I'm looking at that Epson, the QL3000, because 6,000 anti-lumens on a 130-inch screen is well over 300 nits, which is the equivalent of a pretty decent LCD TV. And with a good ambient light rejecting, acoustically transparent screen, I don't have direct light on it. I can use the thing 24/7. So, and because it's a laser light source, 20-something thousand hours. So why settle for a 98 when I can have a 145 in my room with my speakers behind it? You know, so to me, even though I thought about it, and let's be honest, it's going to be more expensive, but like I said, it's going to be a lot bigger. If I only had a limited budget and I wanted to go, 100 inches, and I only had about 4K, actually, I still may buy a projector. But if I had 2K, it's kind of hard to get a screen, a projector that's bright enough to do all the stuff you want, and the projector and the screen for 2K.
So I think when you think about it, that big LCD may be the perfect solution for, a certain customer group. However, outside of that, the projector is the clear choice.
Yeah. At 85-inch, most customers who are buying 85, unless you're somebody, like I said, needs the portability of moving it from place to place, flat panel is probably the way to go. But question number one, do I want to be able to move it from room to room? Do I want to be able to change the size, bigger, smaller in the future? Do I want to make the screen disappear when it's not on? Do I want to use it in odd applications like backyard theater? Let's see you drag your 98-inch television set to your backyard. Those types of things you have to think about. How are you going to use it? How do you live your life? How much space are you willing to give up for a piece of glass? And then you can make the decision on which one's the best for you. If you live in a room that big old giant wall and there's freaking glass everywhere, and you want to get a 98-inch flat panel, I'm not going to hate on you. Just make sure you can get it in your apartment. That's all I have to say.
Sorry, I'm trying to imagine one of my friends coming over to my house and saying, Hey Phil, let's grab that 98-inch TV of yours off the wall and take it to the
And take it out
backyard.
so we can watch it. The kids can watch Pokemon, right?
No, yeah, yeah. I don't want to even touch the thing, much less take it off the wall. Yeah,
I know, I
yeah.
know. We actually did an article, Phil, about this whole topic. So, and
Okay.
we'll make sure that we put the link down in the description here. And it
Mhm.
basically asks questions, and based on those questions, you should be able to determine which one's the best one for you. Because for a long time, I still foresee that you will have both options available, and in certain
Sure.
spaces and for certain people, there's one that's going to work for you. And what is that going to be?
And when you're in the store, like you were and like I am, and you're taking a look at that uh, 93-inch LG at Costco
Mm-hmm,
for $12.99 or less, or that new
mm-hmm,
110-inch Hisense, you're going, oh my God, I got to have those. You know, then you need to think about how much bigger a projector can get, how much more
mm-hmm,
flexible a projector can get. So
mm-hmm.
there's that moment of, oh my God, size envy, I've got to have that. And then there's thinking it through and
Mm-hmm.
thinking through how you're going to use it to figure out, is that really the right solution for
Yeah,
you?
and is it really that big? When I was in that Epson room looking at that 185, I was just like, "Oh my God, I want that." So if you really want to go big, projection is still the way to go for a while. So, Phil, thank you for coming. And as I was saying, there's reasons why flat panels exist. There's reasons why projectors exist. There's always going to be use cases for each one. It's just which one is the right one for you. So take care, everyone, and we will talk to you soon.